Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of At the Horseman's University. I'm Tik Maynard. I'm on a nice thoroughbred here. Her name's Rogue. And we also have another mare. This is Chanel. This is the first time I've seen and met Chanel. And this is Sky. And Sky, how old is Chanel?
She's 4.
She's 4. So we've got a very young thoroughbred here, just getting introduced to jumping. I think long term, this horse is going to hopefully be a show jumper. We'll see what she enjoys doing. This horse here is already on an eventing track. She's a little bit older. We're going to do a little lesson together, and we're going to start off here with this first episode of this little mini-series being just introducing them to Cavaletti. And right now, if we just back up a little bit with the camera, we've set up 4 Cavaletti here. And we've put these about 4.5 feet apart. Now often I'll measure them, I'll get out a tape measure. Here we've just paced them off. We've got some experienced helpers over here on my right, so hopefully we've paced them off pretty well. We will know pretty quickly if they haven't been, because the horses will struggle a little bit either trying to speed up or slow down as they go through. What we're going to be looking for is to just walk through. Sometimes when they walk through, if we zoom in a little bit on their feet, sometimes at this distance they'll put in 1 step, sometimes 2 steps between the 4 Cavaletti. But at the trot, what we're going to be looking for is for them to do 1 step. If you're watching the front legs, 1 step between each of the 4 poles. And if we set this up right and we're going at the right speed, that step's going to happen right in the middle between each Cavaletti. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through here once, maybe twice. We're going to read the situation, see if she needs to go through a second time. And then I'm going to go through all 4 of them on a little figure 8. And then you're going to do the same thing. All right? So why don't I do that right off the bat here. I'm just going to give myself a little room to just get going here. I'll do a little circle and come around behind you, Sky. Rather than just head straight to them, I'll just make sure I can get her thinking a little forward. Now with a young horse, I'm not really trying to frame them up. I just want to feel like I've got a nice light contact in my hand. There she blows a little bit, which is nice. As I get to them, I'm looking at the middle of the first pole, and then when I'm about a horse length away, then I look off to the other side, maybe to the corner or to a jump. I'm going to come around behind this camera here. And she went through quite nicely, so I'm going to pick up the trot here. I want to give myself enough room that I can have nice smooth turns. So I'm going to go around these 2 cross-country jumps, and I'm looking before I turn, so I don't turn and look at the same time. I'm looking at the middle of the first pole till about a horse or 2 horse lengths away, and then I look up down the line. If I've got a horse that slows down like that, I let them do that, Sky. You know, if your horse goes to look, just let her slow down and look, even if she comes back to the walk. You don't want to be too quick to go through these Cavaletti or they start to rush. The last thing you want is a horse that starts to try to jump them or canter through these trot ones. So as I get through, I look up, I'll let the reins slip a little bit, and I'm going to repeat this till I can get a nice rhythm and stay in the middle. You saw that time I had quite a big drift to the left. I'm already looking before I turn. I'm looking at the middle of the first pole. As I get there, then I'm already start looking up down the line. I've got a little opening right hand to try to keep her straight. Almost kept the rhythm there, didn't I? Just a little bit at the end, I lost the rhythm. I think I'm going to do it once more. As I come around here, I'm already looking over my left shoulder. Gonna see if I can get to the middle. Now I start to look up ahead. And lost the rhythm a little bit at the end, but I think we're going to give her a little break there, and we'll try again in a sec. You ready to give that a try, Sky? All right. So let's put the camera over there on Sky and her horse Chanel. I'm going to come stand over here just off to the side. And let's see how this goes. So for those of you that could see the feet, between the first 2, she did 2 steps at the walk, and then 1 step, and then 2 steps again. Now, are you ready to try the trot with Chanel there, Sky? All right, go ahead. Very good with your eye, looking ahead through the turn. Lovely, nice, smooth turn. As you get to about here, look up down the line. And go left. And that's not a big deal. You know, she didn't panic, she just was trying to figure it out, so we'll just repeat it a few times. So often when a horse struggles, we don't want to get after them. We just repeat it and let them figure it out. Very nice. Let's do that once more. And Sky, what you did there is she stretched her neck a little bit. You softened your hand, which is exactly correct. I love it when the horses stretch their neck out and down over these Cavaletti, and you feel their back come up and their neck go out and down and their eyes look ahead out at the Cavaletti. We want to see her study them. Why don't we do that once more and just a little slower in. And then I'm going to have another try here as well. Very good, very good. And back to walk. So, from here, there's all kinds of things we could do to make this exercise a little tougher. You know, we could add in other Cavaletti in other places. We could make the turns different. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do this. We're going to trot the Cavaletti, and then we're going to canter about 2/3 of the circle, and then we're going to trot the Cavaletti. And we're going to stay, I think because we're doing that, we're going to stay on one circle. Why don't we start to the left? I'm going to trot over them, canter, and trot over them. And the hard part about this is we're having to do 2 transitions every circle. So let's see how that goes here. There's so many ways we can make exercises harder without adding in more jumps or making jumps bigger. We can work on the rideability. As I get to them, I look up where I'm going. Back to trot. It's interesting, she lost her balance. I stayed in my position and I slipped the reins and let her find her balance. I stretch up. You almost want to have the feeling that they're breaking from the trot to the canter and from the canter to the trot. Now, if she starts rushing, once I'd say is like a little bit of an accident, you know, maybe she lost her balance a little bit. But if she starts rushing through there, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to trot through a few more times. I don't want her thinking canter. I want her just thinking about the trot. Come back to the trot and do that again. Over here on this side of the circle, I'm going to leg yield a little bit off of my left leg. This horse struggles a little bit to be connected on the left side, so I want to make sure I get the bend from my left leg, not from my left rein. And I'm going to go back and try the canter again. I think I'm going to repeat a couple times of the trot and then I'm going to give her a little break. I don't want her thinking too much about getting into that canter. And I'm hoping your horse is going to have a little easier time with this. We'll see how that goes. Really good. Oh, I'm gonna just repeat this till I can keep the rhythm. No hurry. A lot of horses need to do these Cavaletti exercises, you know, every day for weeks until they feel like they can just keep that rhythm as they go through. There we go. Really nice. All right, Sky, why don't you give that a try? If you look at this horse here, she's got a homemade hackamore on, which I haven't seen before, but it's quite an interesting bridle. What both these horses react to over there, you can't really see it probably on the camera, but there's a little ditch, and we're just going between the ditch and the culvert so the horses feel a little bit of a squeeze. We want to make sure we slow down there if they haven't been through that gap and let them look. Good. Why don't, before you canter, why don't you trot through that gap once more between the ditch and the culvert. Let her slow down, let her get used to that gap. Don't be in a hurry there. Yeah, exactly. A little rub on the neck is great. Yeah, let her look. No hurry. Very nice. Why don't you do a little circle there, come just around the ditch and go through the gap again. Start at the trot, but then if you feel like it's good for her to walk, then come back to the walk. Very good. One more time before you go back to the Cavaletti. These kinds of things that come up as we go, you really want to make sure you take the time to address them. And even one more time, huh, Sky? You know, so often you'll go into a jumper ring or a jumper clinic and a horse will spook at something in the distance. You really want to kind of have the presence of mind to go over there and spend the time at it. Yeah, go for it, Sky. Good idea. Good. And continue on back to the Cavaletti. Very good. Let's try the canter this time. Look ahead. Eye up. You can let her trot through the gap and then pick up the canter again. Very good. A little more light seat, hands forward, and then when you're ready to trot, just let her break to the trot. Very good. Very nice how she stretches her neck out and down. Let's do that one more time, and then I'm going to have a try to the right. Nice transition. Keep your eye up, ride a little more forward. Good. Let's see you get out of the saddle, push your hands forward. Yeah, a nice forward thinking canter. Good. Stretch up. Use your voice, back to trot. Good. Take a deep breath. Stay in posting trot as you go through and back to walk. Very nice. All right, now we're going to switch sides here. Sometimes I would go back in this direction. You know, we've come through going this way, but because we're on a slight hill here, we're going to switch sides. So even though I'm coming off the right instead of the left, we're going to stay coming uphill. Look up as I go through. Let her try to find that rhythm. Now, if you need to repeat it, Sky, normally I'd go around and give myself a little bit more room at the canter, but because I'm just repeating it a few times at the trot again, I'm going to do a smaller circle here. There we go. Little light seat. Hands forward, stretch up, use your voice, looking at the middle. I want to get a nice quiet trot through here, eyes up. I'm going to repeat that at the trot every time that I need to. Easy. There we go. Kept the rhythm. We're going to see if I can do the same thing and stay in the middle, and then you're going to have a little go. Okay, Sky? All right. Go ahead, Sky. Just a little slower. There you go. Very nice rhythm. Lovely. Canter. Back to trot. Simple change. Try again for the right lead. Very nice. A little slower. Good. Let's do that. Very nicely done, Sky. Let's do that once more. And easy, even a little slower. Good. Good with your eyes up and back to walk. Lovely. All right, Sky. I think that's pretty good for our first little session here. Call this just introducing Cavaletti. Sky's horse is doing a great job with trotting over it, stretching her neck out and down. Sky's doing a great job of picking up the canter. What I'd like to see is both these horses get used to that little culvert and ditch over there a little bit more. And this horse as well needs to get used to these Cavaletti a little bit more. So I think before this horse is ready to move on, we would do that a little bit more. And that's going to be my homework with this horse before the next session. And in the next session, I want you guys to come back and I'm going to show you the next thing we're going to do with these Cavaletti, another little exercise. So come back to the Horseman University and check that out. Thanks for watching.